what you got to realize is, as a targeted individual, the whole reason why you were targeted in the first place is because you are a threat to the status quo of consciousness. Okay? Everything happens in consciousness. All right? If you expand your consciousness outside of the controlled perimeter, you get targeted. But that's not the end of the story. You can continue to expand outside of the operation that's trying to keep you down and keep you a prisoner, but you have to know how to do it. And if you know how to shut down the operation of gang stalking, then you understand what transmutation is. You basically transmutate gang stalking, okay? And there's high level alchemists that know how to do stuff like this, all right? I just learned recently. So I don't like to refer to myself as an alchemist or anything like that, but you could call me that, or you could call me, somebody who just knows how to transmute energy at a high level. It definitely comes with trial and error, and you have to practice this. It's not something that you just, get out of nowhere. Like, you have to work towards learning how to transmute energy, because when we're all born, we're programmed to basically mostly exist out of our lower self. All right. And you have to learn how to access the higher self. And this is just states of consciousness. So the lower self is just a frequency in consciousness. The higher self is the same thing. But when your consciousness breaks free of the perimeter that they've set for you at birth, you get targeted, you get gang stalked, you get this operation that's trying to drive you crazy up here in consciousness, because you are a threat to the status quo of consciousness, okay? To the status quo's consciousness, to the all seeing eye at the top of the pyramid, you know? And actually, that eye isn't all seeing, it's the reptilian eye, it's the parasite eye, it's the shapeshifter eye that is holding a veil over the entire population. Okay? Now, this reality, this simulation is a game of sorts, and you just got to learn how to protect your energy. That's what it's about at the end of the day. You got to protect your energy. You got to learn to protect your consciousness. You got to learn to just know how to roll, know how to flow, man, know how to tap into that chi energy, or know how to, um, raise those frequencies and balance the rest of your energy. You got to know how to flow and wave, ebb and flow, and then got to know how to stay in the energy where you're trying to stay for as long as you can. You get to that point where you know how to stay in that frequency that you like to be predominantly in, because shit happens and sometimes we may have a reaction to something. So we may be in a vibration of peace, or feeling neutral or calm or tranquil, and something comes along to lower us for a brief moment. But if you're good at, alchemizing and transmuting energy, you know how to bring yourself back up. You'll know how to rise again when you fall. So, but basically, targeted individuals, real targeted individuals that are actually being gang stalked by the real gang stalking operation, um, you're being targeted by that operation because you are a threat in consciousness to the consciousness of the status quo, and they don't like that, and they will try to eliminate you. But what they like to do is they like to drive you crazy. They don't just come out and straight kill you. I mean, they could, but we're not dealing with just ordinary humans. We're dealing with a parasitic, low vibrational consciousness, a predatorial, reptilian, amphibian type of consciousness, okay? It's insect like, it's predatory like, it's low level, it's low frequency, it's all that, man. It's all those contracting energies, and it just contracts and absorbs and steals energy from you. It commits criminal vampirism against you, okay? That's basically what it is. And obviously you can't take an energy vampire to court and make the claim that they stole your energy. No, you got to deal with that shit in a different manner. But I mean, just imagine that though. But you just got to learn to protect your energy. Like that's I can't say that and stress that enough. Targeted individuals, you need to tap into your spiritual side, okay? And if you don't like that word, you need to tap into your inner self, okay? You need to tap into and expand your inner consciousness, your inner point of attention, okay? Your soul, or whatever you want to call it. Um, you need to just learn to work with that. And also, you got to learn to pull back a little. So, because I noticed that a lot of targeted individuals, they get hyper fixated on their gang stalking, and they want to record evidence 24/7 and be on YouTube and making live stream videos about gang stalking all the time and talking about it, blah, 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 gang stalking this, gang stalking that, blah, blah, blah. And it's okay to put content out. It's okay to make videos. It's okay to be informative. I'm not against that, but you have to learn to pull back, and you have to learn to set a boundary. So you do some informative videos on a topic, and then you let go and you don't hyper fixate on it because it will start to steal your energy. There are certain things that if you focus on over and over and over again, and you allow your consciousness to plug into over and over again, you're going to feed that thing. You're going to see more of it in your life, and you won't know how to get rid of it. That's the problem where a lot of not just targeted individuals, but people in general, like they have this problem where, they end up attracting something or opening the door or portal to something to come into their life, and they don't know how to get rid of it. They don't know that they're the ones that caused it. They don't know, they don't understand that they are the ones that opened the door and gave the key to the predator in their life. All right. And there's different levels of being a predator or a parasite, okay? You know, you got a lot going on this planet, and we won't even get into the cosmos. There's so much going on out there, but yeah, like where attention goes, energy flows, and that is true. So when it comes to being targeted, you are targeted because you're a threat, but if you know how to transmute that energy and you know how to take your focus away once you transmute the energy and place it somewhere else, that's 90% of the battle. And the operation of targeting will go from this to down here, and then you won't even see it. Okay. And then it might try to pop back up and get your attention, and then you just keep doing what you're doing. You transmute that energy, you take your focus away. And if you need to talk about it or whatever, make a video about it to make yourself feel better, or just to have an informative video for the TI community, quote unquote TI community, because yeah, I mean, you can do that, but then you just need to learn how to pull your energy back. And I say quote unquote because, to elaborate further, I think it's pretty ridiculous that there is a community of so-called targeted individuals where they're all supposed to come together, make gang stalking videos, reach out to each other, and collaborate. And that hasn't worked since it started. Like what, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I think the first targeted individual video came out, and then you got National Targeted Individual Day, where people march to Washington or march wherever they are in their town, and they talk about how they're being zapped with directed energy weapons and dues and all this stuff. And that hasn't helped anything. If anything, it probably has amplified the issues, and it probably just made it worse. Most people who went out of their way to try to um, focus on gang stalking 24/7, they probably never got rid of it ever. And they probably wasted decades of their life focused on it and got energy drained, and probably ended up with all kind of health problems and other issues, and just probably just wasn't all that well, man. Because like I said, If you keep feeding the parasite, it's going to stay. Okay? You start off as a threat, and the parasite or the low level consciousness attacks you. Okay? These pyramid operators, that run the government and are behind the secret societies and the reptilian bloodline and all that. They're all just a bunch of parasites. They act like they're so powerful and tough, but they're just a bunch of bitches at the end of the day. Low vibrational parasite bitches that try to come across as bullies, but they know who the real bully is. The centurions of peace, like myself. And you can be firm with your peace. That's another thing that you can do. Like you learn to be confrontational peace. That's one thing that I did with my gang stalking is, you know, I was followed at the store. People were synchronized with my movements out of nowhere. They psychically try to plug into where I'm going. They be looking like this, trying to look at my eyeballs and stuff, trying to zone in on my third eye, trying to do everything to distract me and steal my energy and steal my focus and all that. And what I started doing is I started being confrontational peace, where as soon as I saw these people trying to synchronize and stalk me in the store, I would get in front of them and confront them with peace and say, "Hey, I like your shoes. Hey, how you doing, man? Oh, your glasses look good." All that. It just transmutes the energy. When they come with that energy vampire shit, if you confront them first with confrontational peace, it nullifies that energy vampire bullshit and they pretty much malfunction and they can't do a damn thing but try to gang stalk or continue to gang stalk, but it don't work. And that's how it has to, go down. Like you can't confront them and say, "Oh, I know you're a gang stalker or a reptilian or whatever. I know you're a fourth dimensional entity trying to gang stalk me or whatever." Or even if you think they're just a government agent or paid or whatever, that's not going to work. You can't run up on them and confront them with that because they'll just use it against you, call you crazy, and continue to drain your energy and be an energy vampire, parasite, asshole. Okay? So you got to be the best version of yourself. This situation should bring out the best version of you. That is the truth that you need to face. Okay? You need to be raising those vibrations. You need to be raising that energy up. Raise those vibrational frequencies. Raise and expand your consciousness. That's what you need to be doing. And like I said, the gang stalking will go from this to this. And I'm telling you, I've seen every tactic under the sun. I've seen people sitting in their car with car doors open, multiple car doors open, getting in and out the car, slamming the cars, looking at me, driving by with a one headlight, driving by in a red or a blue car multiple times. People driving by just staring at me for no reason. People sitting at a bus stop staring at me. Um, I've seen people just standing across the street looking with their eyeballs wide, trying to hone in on me. I'm in the grocery store, Walmart or King Supers or Safeway or something like that. And I'm just trying to get my food and just go about, my shopping experience. And I got people coming out the aisles, next to the aisle that I'm in just to get in my way and, be all sneaky and stupid about trying to get in my way and steal my energy or maneuver around my auric field so they can try to manipulate my thoughts and shit. Like, it's bullshit, dude. It's a bunch of bullshit, but and they try to get you to react to that, so you'll punch them or assault them, and then as soon as you do that, like the whole hive mind parasite consciousness kicks in, and it's like everybody else that is already in on it and waiting for you to do something stupid just comes out the woodworks, and they're all on your ass like a colony of hornets and shit. Okay, ready to call the police and assault you and make you look like the bad guy. This is why you need to protect your energy, okay? This whole thing is set up to where if you expand your consciousness and wake up and raise your vibration, they attack you in this manner with all kind of tactics. They use directed energy weapons, um, synthetic telepathy, which is actually isn't synthetic. It's an ability that they have because they're non-humans. Okay, you're dealing with fucking reptilian body snatchers, amphibian body snatchers, um, and other parasites, okay? Other fourth dimensional parasites that are all working together as a fucking hive mind to body snatch and drain unaware people or people that are already on a low frequency that have no idea what's going on. Like, you can be possessed on a low frequency, okay? Like, if you're on that fourth dimensional, lower third dimensional frequency, like just being unaware of shit and you're just, your consciousness is just down here and ain't doing a whole lot. Like, you can be susceptible to psychic influence. You could be body snatched. You could be taken like in a dream. Like, that shit can happen. Like, I've had dreams to where something was trying to drag me away years ago, and somehow my soul is just strong, and I was able to get out of it or wake up before they could snatch me away or whatever. This shit is real, man. Like, and some people just brush it off as, oh, it's your subconscious mind, just an aspect of your subconscious mind. Oh. Like, no, it's deeper than that. I mean, if you want to call it that, you have the right to call it that, but I don't believe that's what's going on. I believe that these are actual, conscious, lower dimensional parasite beings, okay? And they will attack your auric field. They will try to contract your consciousness when it expands with all types of bullshit. Okay, you'll see people committing behaviors that you've never seen before to try to drive you insane and drain your energy. And if they can't drive you insane, then they'll just constantly try to irritate you. I've been dealing with it for 7 years, and it's just nonstop, you know, uh, just tactical bullshit that tries to get on my nerves or piss me off or, put me in a state of fear or apprehension or something like that. They have to be all manipulative because they're a bunch of bitches that can't just walk up on you and say, I don't like you raising your consciousness. I don't like you raising your energy. You need to get the fuck out of here. I would accept that, if a group of people ran up on me and said that, but they gotta be all sneaky, like, I don't know, man, like, my gang stalking has been some shit out of Star Trek or Stargate SG-1 or one of these sci-fi movies, horror movies, Like, I've seen shit that, would blow your mind, that would really make you question reality. But because my mind has already accepted the far side of reality and that's what we're dealing with down here, shit ain't ever been normal and it ain't ever gonna be normal. There is no normal. There is no normal life or normal world. Like, it's always been the far side of reality. You just got to learn to protect your consciousness and your energy once you find that out. And if you can do that, you're good. All the manipulation, uh, all the tactical bullshit, all the psychic projection, all the energy vampirism, all that gang stalking operational tactical bullshit, energy weapons, it just fucking just start to deplete. Okay, it literally will be like this at first. You'll feel like you are so overwhelmed with the shit that's going on and all the bullshit and all the surveillance and, following you and trying to track your movements through your phone and having people drive by your house and shooting frequencies at you. And once you learn to protect your frequency within your own consciousness and expand your consciousness, that shit will go from this to down here. And then you can just pretty much eliminate it from your life. Like I said, where attention goes, energy flows. You can't give this shit too much attention. Make some informative videos, talk about it with a friend or so. Hey, maybe find somebody that you can confide in. Let that shit go afterwards. Don't be hyper focused on it, hyper fixated on it, because that's part of the energy vampirism that they want. Once they lock in on you and start gang stalking you and doing the energy vampire shit and trying to, siphon and drain your energy and, lower your consciousness and all that, then the only option that you have is to raise your energy, is to raise your vibrational frequency. And you can do that. You can take a multi-dimensional approach to doing that. You can meditate, get out in the sun. You can jog and exercise, go swimming, change your diet, change the music that you listen to. Stop feeding low vibrational music because what you listen to, okay, affects your brain heart coherence, your solar plexus down here, your sacral chakra. Like, you need to protect your energy. You need to protect your consciousness on a deep level. You don't know what you're dealing with out here. Some of you people probably come in contact with people that you think are people, and you're sitting there hee hee hawing and laughing it up, and you have no idea you're sitting in front of some type of freaking lower dimensional, fourth dimensional, amphibian, reptilian that has possessed and body snatched somebody, and you thought it was Ted, but Ted been gone a long time. Okay? Ted ain't been there in 10 years. Something else has been living Ted's life. And that's what's going on here, man. Shit is crazy. It's wild. But it is what it is. It's the wild, wild west round here. And I'm Sheriff Golden Observation. But anyways, I really hope that whoever watches this gets something out of it. Protect your energy, man. Protect your psychic center. Protect your third eye. Protect your heart chakra. Raise those frequencies, man. Listen to meditative music and like rain and thunder sounds. Start listening to that, and river sounds and creek flow sounds and ocean movements, and just different sounds of nature, birds chirping. Like they got all that on YouTube and on the internet. Start listening to that and certain frequency tunes that will cause your chakras to radiate peace and higher energy and expand your consciousness. And you start doing this and take a multi-dimensional approach to this. Start sun gazing, if that's not your thing, whatever. But, just like do research or make a list of stuff that you could do to better your life and incorporate all that into it. And you'll notice the gang stalking start to go from here, like I said, start slowly dwindling. The more you do it, start slowly dwindling. The more you do it, the more you do it. But you got to be consistent, persistent, and, you got to be patient. Everything happens in degrees and more degrees over time. Okay, you plant the seed, but you got to let the seed grow and take the amount of time that it needs to become a tree. You got to let the caterpillar get into the cocoon and sleep and take its little nap in the cocoon before it can come out as a butterfly. Okay, it's just the process. You got to go through the process, and then once you come out on the other end, you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it'll be damn worth it. But anyways, I hope somebody got something out of this. Peace out.